shit a while ago.
Yeah, the second I saw it, I was like, Simone. I don't know why. That's just the first thing I thought. And I was on the phone with him at the time. He's like, Simone is dead. There's no fucking way it's Simone.
What?
And got so mad at me and started making me feel so guilty. There should have been a precursor to see things to come with that, man.
How did I just stumble on this convo?
My thing right now is I have to find... I have such a hard time finding seniors on shit because lately everybody's been conflicted out of everything.
Well, if you've noticed the DOJ chat room, I am very much in agreement with Search Cross. In that, if I am to win judge, I will still be your supervisor on that one case.
Surge Cross is in a DOJ chat room?
There's another thing that you think that I'm not conflicted in, that you need supervisor for, I will do it.
Unfortunately, you very much witnessed this shit.
Ah, fuck. Now I'm curious, though, and I can ask, what is it?
Well, it's on the docket, the Lex one.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
How am I just standing here?
I haven't been able to retain, like, 90% of anything I've read today, so I need to remind myself.
A bunch of contempt and witness tampering.
Oh, yeah, for the Mikey Silver case.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe get Norman to help you on that. Except he's convinced he's going to die during his court case on Tuesday.
Wasn't he there for that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, because the problem with this one is a bunch of lawyers were sitting and watching, and Birch said that he was in and out, so I don't know if he is conflicted or not.
I know, but also, Birch was there, Grace was there, Siobhan was there. I remember seeing... I don't remember seeing anyone else. Obviously. Okay. I remember seeing Bill. Obviously, Bill was there. He was the judge.
Yeah. I'm trying to not ask Birch to take on too many more of my cases because he's literally taken on everyone except for the one you have. Just because of timing.
Yeah. At the very least, I can trust you to actually prepare your cases and not overwork the poor dumb man.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing. Like, I'm doing most of the work. I just need somebody's name on the docket, you know?
Yeah. No, there have been other juniors who will just say they just need a supervisor and then don't. Case in point being King coming to me right before the trial saying, yeah, I didn't prepare shit, so if you could feed me questions.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So me supervising turned into...
So I'm just getting all the tea right here.
For an opening, me holding his hand through all the questions he had to ask.
So I'm seeing if they say anything good.
Figuring out that he didn't want Mikey to testify at all. And holding his hand through what he had to say during the closing to get the point across.
Jesus.
It was not interested. Fucked. I said that I'm not interested in you.
Like, I need help with procedural shit.
You constantly make
and,
me feel like it's always
like,
my fault.
I second guess my objections.
Yeah, see, and
but that's just shit that
that's what I've been
practice,
saying this whole time.
right?
You don't take
in terms of like the case, when it gets closer to like once it gets scheduled, then I actually take a look at it and then I start writing down the exact questions I want to be asking for everything and like I start preparing. And yeah, like if you well, I won't say too much, but on one of my appeals that was supposed to be scheduled recently, I have a lot of questions to ask, a lot of points I want to hit, and that kind of thing. And I already started preparing my opening and closing. It's not written down, but, you know, just kind of planning what I want to say, because then it got unscheduled, so I had to... I just kind of put it to the side in case something else got scheduled first, you know?
But no, nothing's ever your fault. It's always my fault.
Man, that sounds like a familiar argument.
I was gonna say.
I'm just pretending like I'm using this shit.
Yeah. King said that that's what he needed was...
They bring Simone back up.
And I've learned through being very petty with Maya that my procedural is actually really good. It's just that 99% of the time I don't give a fuck. So when the other side is
Okay, and guess what?
asking a leading
You got
question,
your
if
lick
it's
back
not
because you're
going
clearly
against
can't
what I want to
handle
argue,
it,
I don't
you
care.
know?
Yeah.
If the witness is providing a narrative, I don't care. It's just going to streamline
And now
things.
you keep
Ask 20
bringing up
questions
stuff
to get
that
the same narrative, or wait 10 minutes for this narrative to finish.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, that's the balance I need to learn is when to let them go and when to stop it. You know.
yeah. Sometimes I get worried that people think that I'm letting too much go, but honestly, unless it's a case that I'm on a case by myself and I am 100% distracted trying to figure out my cross examination that I don't
Yeah,
pick
clearly
up,
not, because
Mhm.
then most of the time it's just that as much as I know it's an objection, I'm more curious about what's
But you
trying to
don't-
be
you don't
established,
acknowledge the fact
and
that
I
what you
don't
said
think
was
it's going to hurt my
completely
case,
incorrect.
so I just let it go.
I can't remember who said it, but somebody was saying
like
to
saying,
not
"Oh,
be
guess what?
super
It's
heavy on the
raining."
objections unless you need them.
In
you know?
Africa.
Yeah.
Of course it's raining somewhere. If you
Right.
leave out half the sentence, then how am I supposed to know anything?
I think there's been one or two cases where I have thrown out an objection that
Okay, but
really
why-
wasn't an objection. It was just
You don't
more of the
understand. It
fact
takes
that
me calling
there
you
was
for
too
you to
much of
finally
a
say, "Oh,
flow,
he said that
and it
whenever I first-
wasn't
whenever you
helping
guys
my
first-
side. So I just wanted to
You just told me
either
just
make the witness trip up or make the
Yeah,
other attorney
anyways,
sweat
if
a
he doesn't
little
like you,
because they have their flow broken and all of a sudden have to
Okay,
think of a
that's all I'm
rebuttal to
asking
an
for.
objection
In
that
this
they didn't see
particular
coming
argument,
because it
Mhm.
not there.
Okay.
it's not
But
even about
it's
the
very
laws.
rare that I
It's
use
just the
that
fact that,
tactic because
again,
again, I just don't
I
like
used
it.
winter as an example. You know,
I'm
Yeah.
more
it
of
wasn't good
let
at
people
all.
present their
If I told
case, see
Winter,
what they're
"Hey,
doing,
Winter,
and work
if I
with
told
it
you,
to
Winter said
get
she
your
doesn't
point
like you,
across better.
dot dot
Mhm.
dot.
I have a feeling that's what
and then she
my
says smash
psycho
it. It
pill is
makes a
gonna
huge
be.
difference.
Is just a bunch
A
of
huge difference.
these heavy hitters just trying to throw me off my game.
And you even said
Yeah, you have
party yesterday,
what?
so clearly
Cross,
they like you. So don't even try
Shaw,
flipping the
Labar.
On top of
thought you said
Bayo,
Bruce
Divine,
liked
Raven.
And it's going to be something to witness. I don't
Yeah.
care when that's scheduled. I am going to be there for that.
Yeah, I'd rather be witnessing it too.
I don't blame you.
And that was the
Honestly,
first
part
thing
of
I
me
These
ever
just
two?
wants
posted.
to
Holy
see
shit,
if
bro. They could
there's
talk.
Any sort of physical or physical symptoms of gambling withdrawal from Shaw. I don't think he's left the casino since the last time he was in town.
Interesting. That's good to know. But yeah, the problem is that it should, in my opinion, it should be a simple argument. But with all of them there, I'm like, did I miss something? Is there something I'm missing? And they're just gonna like steamroll me and like, you know?
No, I
It's-
think it's just a case of you got a case with a lot of old school cops, so a lot of old school lawyers want to help them out.
Fair enough.
And as for Cross, honestly, because he was the first one to go in, I think might have just been the fact that he is SDSO
Mhm.
and former ADA. So they were like, hey, you are the most qualified SDSO employee we have. You take it. He was like, fuck it, why not? Because
that makes
old
sense.
school. But then Labar sees it, Shaw sees it, and they're like, well, fuck, all these people that were around when I was more around. We'll be like the old times. Let's have fun.
Yeah, Labar had me sweating. A fucking Labar coming out of retirement for this shit is having me actually
The
sweating.
bar. Coming out of retirement?
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean,
If
the
this
place
were
is named
6
after him.
Yeah. If this were 6 months ago, I'd be in the same.
But we're getting
category,
everything right now.
Except I've seen him like twice since then, and not just as I think a hallucination.
Hmm.
I have a little bit more confidence in
That's
my
the dude that was in the
abilities
picture
now
with
than I did 6 months ago. I mean, if I didn't, I wouldn't have supervised the day with 2 bench trials and an appeal hearing.
Mhm.
6 months ago, that would have crippled me after the first bench trial.
Marissa's smart enough. Like, whenever
Okay. Yeah, I've
So
only
it's-
done one bench trial because I can't get them.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, sir?
Oh, you're the infamous Murphy Braun.
What about infamous? But yeah, that's me.
Heard you got a fat cock.
I've been told. Yeah,
Mmm, delicious.
Well, what I'm finding with these
appreciate
appeals
it.
is that there's things I would have missed if it was a bench trial.
Yeah.
So I'm almost grateful that these are appeals. And I don't like the format of bench trials. It does not. My brain does not like it. The fact that I
Yeah.
can't make statements to kind of state what my argument is kind of really throws me.
Yeah, I figured that out with Jaeger's bench trial because of the fact that he snapped and told Columbo he would 100% kill him if he could.
Lovely.
And everything that stemmed from that because Columbo asked about closing arguments and Titus was like, well, no, not usually. I jumped on the, well, we could if he wants to, so that I had that chance to state that, look at facts. You don't have any identifying characteristics. Plus, look at how my client acted today. You think that if he got to bludgeon Columbo half to death, he would be denying it. And that argument worked. Even though the first thing he told me the second I walked into the courthouse, because I didn't even get to the cell rep, was I 100% did that shit.
Those ones are hard for me too because it's like I have to spin the narrative, right? Like I have to get you. My job is to either drop or lessen charges, and if I have somebody who says I 100% did that shit, but they also don't want to get charged with anything, it's like I can only do so much if you do not give me anything.
Yeah, I won't lie, when he said that, I was kind of shitting my pants because the only thing I knew about Jaeger up to that point was that once upon a time he called someone to go down to the tuner shop to get some customizations on his bike. The only reason the guy showed up was because he knew he was going to get murdered if he didn't.
The fuck?
Oh yeah, I think you told me that.
Yeah, so that was what I was going on, and here I have him at a bench trial trying to get out of charges that he just said he 100% did. But after talking to him, he seems a lot more accepting of taking responsibility of his actions. He just wants to at least try to get away with it if he can.
Well, that's good.
So it became a lot easier after talking to him to actually do his defense and take care of him. Because I also believe 100%, if that's the type of reputation you have, that if he didn't want the consequences of his actions, I would have been murdered for failing him if I did.
Yep. Well, that's the thing that, like, a lot of... It's an interesting thing for me to... A place for me to be. And I understand collecting charges, because that's something that I used to do. It was like, hey, what charges can I get? Other than, like, murder and all that shit, those ones I didn't want, but... You know... I legitimately wanted stealing license plates to go on the docket. You know, I wanted that fucking charge. So it's an interesting place to be in. Now you're in the cell as your lawyer, and you know somebody gets prostitution, and I almost feel obligated to go. Just so you know, people collect this, but if you don't want it, we can argue it, right? Like,
yeah. It's also a lot of people get told that they're getting arrested for prostitution and don't realize that it's probably the harshest sentence in our book.
Yeah, well,
because I had that with one person who was like, I know it's just 2 times prostitution, but I feel like I was entrapped. It's like, just 2 times? That's 140 months in jail. And he was like, well, fuck me.
Yep. Well, that's the other thing that I need to get better at is putting that filter on as well, where I need to realize if it's a felony to the cops, it's a terrible thing, but for everybody else, it's probably not that bad, you know?
Yeah.
Because there was a time where I was representing somebody who was found with 20 oxy, and I was like, it's just 20 oxy. Like, I don't understand why you're, you know, making a huge deal about this. And they're like, 20 is a felony. And I checked. I'm like, oh shit. okay, well, it's not that much more than a felony. And they were like, it's still a felony. I'm like, okay, what would happen if you...
That was great. Really good tea. I mean, you stand there long enough, you can get some valuable info. Labar coming back. They're talking about the Simones. I wish I came sooner. I would have heard more. Cross is still involved with the DOJ. Maybe I just call Brian and just name drop Cross. Just to get him to start looking into him, you know? Maybe just say, hello, Brian. Keep an eye on Serge Cross. The last sound was me hanging up. Like the phone. Because if we're talking about a corrupt judge, doctor, fucking cop, holy shit, man, that's some severe shit right there.